Yeah, you the model, the lawyer, the stewardess. Yeah. You the doctor, the dentist, you doing it. That's why they scared.
Okay, well, Ally, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. This is amazing. So excited to be here and just to talk to you.
Oh, thanks so much. This is actually really fun for me because as the interviewer, you're the interviewee now.
Yes. I love that for me too. It's great to take a different perspective on things, you know?
I know. So I appreciate you taking the time. Miss Ally is in New York right now, so there's a bit of that time difference, and she's got like the nice rainy gloom happening, I think, right now.
This light is literally from my ring light because there's no light from the sun. It is like nighttime over here in New York, and it's actually 11:13 a.m. So
Okay.
it happens. 'Tis the season, as they say. So it is what it is.
Season. Wouldn't we as Californians love seasons? It's 10:13 right now, and it's probably going to hit higher in the 90s today. It's October. Why? I don't know. It's crazy, but I just want to do a quick intro. Okay, so I have the lovely Ally Melendez, who graduated with a bachelor's in mass communications and a minor in theater.
Okay, girl.
That's pretty cool.
Thank you.
She graduated from the University of New York. And what city? Where are you from?
SUNY Oneonta. It's really weird. It means State University of New York. It's a state school. It's Oneonta, New York, which is basically as in the middle of nowhere as you can imagine. So I'm out on Long Island. I'm about 30 minutes from the city or 44, whatever. I'm being so specific. I'm about 40 minutes from the city, right? So the school I went to is about 3.5 hours from the city, about 4 hours from here, and literally in the middle of the mountains, which makes it such a beautiful view. I had the most gorgeous views year round, but it also makes it completely just isolated from the rest of the world. So I got a great education. I met my boyfriend there, and all is good. So
that's fun. Okay. So Ally has really hit the ground running with her career since graduating. She is a TV and on-camera host, has worked at Indie Music TV's Top 21 Countdown.
Yeah.
Spotlight Live. She was a host and reporter for Awesome TV. I'm just listing off your resume, girl. Don't worry.
It's fine. I love it so much.
Yeah. And she has even become associate producer and on-air lifestyle correspondent for CBS's Live It Up with Donna Drake, who you've also made appearances on the show as well. Currently, you can catch Ally in the sports world as the in-arena host for Long Island Nets.
Yes.
Dude, cool.
That's correct.
Super cool. Ally has hosted many other sporting events such as New York Cosmos, New York Riptides, Atlantic 10 men's basketball, just to list a few. Today, Ally is a co-host of Stadium Authentics on the Yes Network. Yes, also creator, executive producer, or host of Ally Answers.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I know there's a lot that we're chunking down, right? It's like so many titles. What does this all mean?
You are very hardworking. Clearly you love what you do. You're still very young. Very young. A couple of things that I wanted to mention. I know Ally's going to talk about it, but she has also created the On Air Institute. I'm going to let you share that. And then also, just for fun on the side, she's a fitness coach. So no big deal.
It's just for fun. So, wow. Okay. Yeah. A lot to kind of digest and dive into. Thank you for that marvelous introduction in true hocus pocus style. And I'm definitely really, really excited about everything that I do, which is why I have done and continue to do so many different things in the realm of hosting and production, and now kind of this newest venture that I dove into as a mentor. So basically I always knew I wanted to work with people. And I kind of thought, maybe I want to be an actress, and I like the idea that I can make an impact on a stage, right? And I can kind of connect with an audience or connect with a crowd, and finding genuine connection where we are diving deeper and deeper into technology, and feeling that kind of isolation is so important to me, to just make sure I am tuning in with friends and people and seeing them face to face and connecting in real life as much as possible. So that's something I've always kind of loved doing, is just connecting with people, talking to people, making them smile, laugh, whatever. So growing up, I was like, I gotta be an actress. I gotta be an actress, right? I gotta be a singer. I gotta make that impact in that way, which was a lot of fun. So I did it all throughout growing up and in high school and a little bit in college, and that's why I minored in theater. But I realized that I wanted to truly make an impact and connect with people as myself. And so I started to dive into the possibility of just being a host. Obviously I grew up watching Oprah. I even enjoy Ellen. I don't know about her alleged scandals right now. As a mean person, I don't know her, can't vouch for her.
Right. Yeah.
But I just grew up, watching all these amazing women in media as a host, making an impact and connecting with people as themselves. And that just clicked for me. That really resonated with me. So I was like, okay, I went to college, still kept my love of theater and stuff on the side as a minor, but decided to dive into mass communication as my major, with media studies concentration. So broadcasting, entertainment, news, anything you can imagine. I was like in 6 clubs at one time, just because I'm a nerd. Like, I'm literally just a nerd. I love learning, and I love just passing that knowledge on to other people.
Right.
So I know everything about, being in front of the camera, obviously, but also being behind the scenes is so important too. Because a lot of people, what they don't realize is that when they're going for a job in front of the camera, sometimes, and especially with our new normal going forward, it's going to be less and less people working at a production site or whatever it is. So sometimes you need to know how to work the camera yourself, how to do everything yourself, how to set up the shot, how to do the editing, how to do, the interviewing. Everything on your own is so important, because you just never know what kind of job that you're going to find yourself getting into. And especially with you, like, you edit your own shows, you edit your own YouTube, you record everything, you think of everything yourself. It is so important to have that overall knowledge of how this works and not just be on camera.
Right.
So I got really into that, learned everything that I could. And just as a result of knowing the importance of being hands-on in this industry, and having a demo reel at an early age, like before I even graduated college, I had like a little kind of crappy little demo reel, but it's something, it's something that I was proud of, that showcased my work. And that's something that I think is so important for people wanting to dive into this industry, is to just get yourself out there. Do not wait for you to get to a certain level with your life, get to a certain level with your career. Just take messy action, meaning just do it. Put yourself out there. That's the only way you're going to continue to grow. And so I did that. And right away after college, I landed the job with the Long Island Nets, which is the G League affiliate to the Brooklyn Nets. So amazing, so cool. We're like the little brother team, quote unquote. And I just fell in love with the idea of walking on court in between timeouts and breaks and connecting to literally thousands of people on the Jumbotron, like making them smile, making them, clap their hands, whatever it is, get up, it's dance time for the dance cam. And I just fell in love with vibing off people's energies. And obviously it's all things that I knew that I was interested in, but doing it for the first time in front of a live audience, in front of a crowd, nerve-wracking.
Yeah. What was that like?
So scary.
That sounds terrifying, actually.
Yeah, and it is. I'm not going to lie. We're all human. And as confident and as, ready as we are, and it's very important to feel prepared, but, it's still going to hit you when you're first starting off, especially. You're going to get those jitters and ticks. And so, obviously I worked through that, as anyone will and does. And I fell in love with it so much. And it was because of that job that I kind of started to get my name around in the New York sports world. So when you mentioned Riptide, that's our box lacrosse team. I hosted their opening game. I do some stuff with the Yankees with Yes Network. I have hosted the Kyrie Irving Invitational because, Kyrie is on the Brooklyn Nets. And so they kind of just used me to host that, and which was amazing. You used me in a way where I was like, yes, please let me be a part of this. And I did the in-theater hosting for the Heisman Award presentation this past year, and just so many different opportunities that have, stemmed out of this initial job, which is so important to note too, is that people are watching you, and whether you feel like a public figure or not, you have to kind of hold your own in that space. You have to kind of live as that person, because then people will start to see you as that person. And that's just a little blip of everything we're going to cover in the On Air Institute. So, I mean, I could just talk forever. I want to give you a chance to kind of, I'm just telling my whole story. I don't even know.
I'm like, ooh, yeah, what else? So even just a quick background, like Ally and I met a little bit ago. Like, we have not known each other long. However, I will vouch for the fact that so far the energy is contagious. The genuine character is very evident, and I can tell, like, just that tender heart for people, it makes it to where it's easy to trust you, very easy to trust you. So that's why, like, I feel like we're talking and it might look like, oh, look, friends, and it's like, yeah, but since not that long ago.
Oh my God, like a month ago, like not even, which is so crazy.
I know.
But I actually had a meeting with my business coach because, well, I'm such a believer that even coaches need coaches. And in order to keep leveling up in life and to keep being the mentor that you want to be, you need to keep learning. So so we met, and I was like, the On Air Institute, is it for you? And I just vibed off of our energy so much and got to hear, your kind of like your pain points and your goals. And I was like, I can genuinely help her. And I don't take just anyone, honestly, because I want to make sure that you're going to get out of it, A, what you put in, but B, like you're going to take out of it everything that I want to help you take out of it. Okay, that doesn't make sense, but you know what I mean.
I feel
so
you.
going back to talking to my business coach, she was like, talk to me about your ideal client. And we're going over our ideal clients and, people that I really kind of like manifested into this course for how much they're going to transition and how much they're going to learn as a result. And those are the people I really want, people who really want to be there. And I was like, there's this girl, Victoria, and honestly, she's like my ideal client through and through because, and I just started listing all the things that I really enjoy about you and enjoy about your on-camera presence. I enjoy the fact that you DM'd me the other day being like, hey, like, I really like that interview that you did. Like, you're watching, you're paying attention, you're already starting to kind of implement little lessons along the way. And I'm like, holy shit, like, she's my ideal client. She's so badass. She knows what she wants, and she knows that, it's important to invest in yourself to get there and to get to the next level. So everything about you is just so amazing. And the fact that we connected just a few weeks ago, and I'm already so excited to like have this long-term friendship, is so amazing.
I know. Oh man, can't wait for you to come down. We can like grab some coffee in person.
I know.
But I do want to hear, with the career that you have established so far, it may look on the outside as if, like, wow, that's fun. That looks like fun. That looks really like, dang, I wish I could be somebody that can speak in front of an auditorium of people. Like, wow, that's so great. But I definitely want to hear what the non-fun stuff sounds like. What does that look like? Like, what were the hurdles that you had to overcome to get to a place where it's like, oh, it's because the perception, it's all about the perception, right? I was talking to somebody yesterday who was like, oh, wow, I see that you're really loving, like, you love to work out, you love CrossFit, you're like doing great, and you have your business going.
Yes, you're killing it, girl.
Yeah, I'm like,
am I just showing that I'm killing it, or?
I was like listening to that, and I'm like, you're not wrong, but I don't feel like Miss poster girl for CrossFit, or like like I've just started my business. So the perception, I know the perception it communicates something. Not that I'm lying, none of it is fake, but the people don't see the days that I'm like, I don't want to go to the gym today. I don't want to do this. Like, and they don't see like days where I just like cry for no reason. You know, they don't see that stuff.
I know.
Talk about the perception. Give us a little light on the non-fun stuff.
Of course. Well, I mean, first of all, when you're as busy as I feel like we both are, like the fact that I'm showing up right now, I have no makeup. Like my hair's frizzy because it's naturally drying after the shower. Like I had so many things I had to do already this morning that when we started this conversation, I was literally shoving like lunch down my throat. Like I was like, I got to eat quickly before this next conversation. And so, yeah, and that's kind of the reality of things, right? This is who I am. I'm passionate about everything that I do, but I know that it takes a lot of hard work to get to where I am, which is why, yeah, today I didn't have a chance to put my makeup on beforehand. And again, that's just, you have to show up as you are. So I try to show up as real as possible on all platforms, social media, on interviews and everything, because well, A, I am who I am. I'm an open book. I have nothing to hide. But B, it is so important that when you are, you are trying to kind of leverage yourself as this public figure, that you are also showing the parts of you that are real, that make you human. And that's not to say that I think I'm some crazy big person in media, like not at all. Like I'm actually just having a candle obsession from Marshall's. I just posted about that on my story yesterday. Like I love chocolate chip cookies. Like I love like all these things that I am so real and raw about behind the scenes, because like you said, I could easily just post pictures with makeup, post pictures and stories where I'm like, oh my God, I got to interview this amazing person today, which is true. It's part of who I am. But then there's such a raw part of who I am as well that I'm equally proud of. So I think that more people just need to, perceive other people as who they are, like, but those people need to do a better job of also being real and being transparent. Because like you said earlier, you trust me. There's something about my energy, my vibe, the way that I show up that is trustworthy and authentic. And I don't even try to do those things. I'm just genuinely showing up as myself time and time again. So I think that's really important to note, is that it's very easy to look at someone to be like, wow, they're killing it and I'm not. And you fall into this comparison and, you're like, how are they always perfect? Meanwhile, I look like this and whatever it is. And it's like, no, they're just choosing to show you a very specific side of them that they want you to see, but they're not showing you all the ugly stuff. And I do like to show the ugly stuff. And, it is hard to sometimes work out. It is hard to sometimes get myself out of bed and be like, oh, I have to record like 7 hours of content today. I got to jump in the shower, put my makeup on and write my scripts and record. And a lot of that I try to showcase in blips, just again, to keep us connected as humans. So everything that I do with how I show myself on social media, how I show up, how I host different things, how I, teach fitness classes, how I am as a mentor, all of those things go back to my purpose. And you talked about this recently on your Instagram, just purposefully living. But my purpose genuinely in life is to just find connection with people, real connection with people, and to impact them, whether it's through education, entertainment, or both. That is literally why I feel like I was put on this earth. And so if I'm able to do that as the Ally Melendez crying behind the scenes saying I had a crazy anxiety attack because I'm overwhelmed, great. Like I want to show up as myself, because again, that's what keeps us connected. So anytime that you feel like you are comparing yourself to someone who perceives themselves as perfect, or as this, someone who has their shit together, someone who is killing it all the time, please keep in mind that they're choosing to show you that. They're not choosing to show you every other thing, all their pain points, all the times that they cry and they're overwhelmed and they're stressed out. And just, it's very important to remember that at the end of the day, what you're seeing might not always be the full truth. And we are all humans. We all we all go to the bathroom. So we all put our shoes on either the same way, right? So I think that is important to note. But your question more so was about kind of the ugly,
yeah,
ugly
like
side, right?
like the perception that, oh
Stuff.
my gosh, you know, this, she's
Yeah.
hosting even for sports, and she's doing these events and talking to these people who are in the limelight, and it's perceived a certain way. But I mean, let's talk about the uphill battle that it took to get there. And it's still going. I mean, you're still young, but your career is
always still going and growing. Thanks for saying I'm young. I feel like I'm not that young. I'm going to be 26 soon, but I love it. I love it so much. I'm like, I'm 26. I have all these amazing jobs, and yet I still got to find medical when I'm 26. So listen, guys, this is the truth, okay? This is the reality of it.
Truth, yes.
So the uphill battle. So like you mentioned a little bit before when we were talking about just like obstacles for a moment and how you don't see the times you cry and all that stuff. Yeah, so a lot of times I've had experience with obstacles like in the industry, like actual tangible obstacles like tech failing, and like literally guests that I've booked to interview like last minute being like, I'm not going to show up, or like, let's reschedule. And I'm like, I'm literally time blocked this. It's so frustrating. Like those are definitely obstacles that like are just annoying. Sometimes are not in your control. So the biggest thing that I've learned is that any obstacle that is outside of my control, anything that I, just can't control, I don't worry about. Mm-hmm. Like I have a very, it is what it is mentality when it comes to those things, because I know my energy and I know my time. And if I let it kind of get to those things that I can't control, then I won't have energy and time to do the other things that I love doing. Mm-hmm. So I don't give my time or energy to anything really negative, honestly, and especially things I can't control. However, there are obstacles along the way, especially in this industry, that are mental, so more like I mentioned before, just more of that comparison to other hosts and to other people where they're at in their career, where I'm just like, damn, how'd they get there? Like, I kind of want to get there, or just like, oh, like I'm so overwhelmed today. I'm kind of backtracked with things, and now I have to push this interview that I had today to a different day, and I didn't want to do that. So there's a lot of mental, I think, obstacles more so than anything. And those are at least where my focus is, because those are things that I can control. Those are the things I want my energy to go to in order to overcome them. So yeah, so I think just any time along the way where I've felt like I've compared myself to someone else, you have to kind of detach yourself from that for a moment and just be like, well, why am I comparing? What about their job is so glamorous? What about their job is something that I want for myself, or what about their whatever it is? Yeah. And so you have to pick apart those things and then set those goals for yourself and realize that maybe it's not this person per se that I'm jealous, for their career and everything, but maybe it's just the fact that I need to set higher and bigger goals for myself that I can attain in my own way, my own path. They got their way, I can get there too in a completely different way. Mm-hmm. So it's just learning to kind of think about what makes you feel anxious in those times, what makes you feel like you're comparing yourself in those moments, and kind of take a step back and just be like, okay. So journaling helps. Like I'll write down like what I want, my goals and everything. I always set up my weeks for like kind of structured days. Like I'm not very structured. I do try to be. I'm like a Capricorn through and through, and I'll say that all the time. Like I do need my structure. That's also why I love school and continued education, is because I love having that. That makes sense. And right. And so, so just being able to kind of see my week out and see the goals I need to hit, both short term and long term, things I'm continuously working on, just helps me to not feel anxious, to not feel as overwhelmed, and to not really compare myself. And it just helps to form a bit of clarity and calmness, which then carries over into everything else that I do, right? Because if I was going into a job where I'm hosting and I'm anxious, or I'm feeling uncertain, or I'm overwhelmed about what I need to say, and I have other things on my mind because I didn't plan ahead and all this stuff, I can't 100% be focused on the job, leading from my purpose, which is genuine connection. And so I won't do as great of a job, you know, and I won't make that impact as much as I want to. So whatever obstacles you're dealing with, especially mentally, anything you can control, do it. Like, just get ahead of it, because you'll feel so much better. I had a lot of anxiety coming out of college when it came down to thinking about my future and what I wanted to do and how I was going to get there. So, and it wasn't until like a year after where I was like, I really need to do something about this. I can't just sit in a ball for hours and cry because I'm so overwhelmed. You know, like a lot of people do that. And unfortunately, you know, we don't talk about that enough, because that is a huge thing a lot of people deal with, is just the anxiety, the overwhelm about our futures, especially not having a 9 to 5 and kind of, you know, creating jobs outside of a 9 to 5. So when I realized I needed to kind of structure my days and weeks a little better, get a little organized, you know, start journaling my thoughts and brain dump all that overwhelm and all that anxiety, and kind of just have it on paper, it makes it easier to just see like, okay, here's what seems like actually is the issue, and here's kind of how I can overcome it. So I think that's the biggest thing, is that if, again, you have those mental blocks, there are ways that you can help yourself overcome them. And even if it's seeking professional help, do it. Like, as long as you acknowledge that you can overcome certain obstacles and there's a way to do it, do it, because it'll help you with any career you do, especially with ones like this where you're kind of in the limelight and you kind of need to act and be a certain way. But really with anything in life. And I think it's just so important to note that you're never alone with those things. And again, people are people. We all have feelings and thoughts that, you know, we can kind of connect to each other with.
You know, I think that it's really interesting because within our society nowadays, it's becoming a more talked about issue with dealing with anxiety and dealing with depression, maybe being overwhelmed. Stress in this country, we know, is at an all-time high. And it even like suicide rates have increased in the past like 6 to 8 years, which is such a sad thing. And so I think that it's a good thing that we're talking more about our emotions, about the things that happen within our mind, because so I'm 31 and I don't remember in high school ever being taught how to process an emotion, or that's like a thing to do. You know what I mean? Like in high school, I would go through moments of isolation and I would go through just icky thoughts. And I'm an only child. So you can imagine, I can just lock myself in my room and be in the world of my mind for hours and hours and hours at a time. Not understanding that could actually be a more toxic thing to do. Not understanding that I'm not talking about the things happening in my mind. So no one's telling me like, we can shift your thinking. You can shift. You need to actually train your mind to think a certain way.
Absolutely.
You know, that stuff was not a thing. And, you know, I have raised in a Latin household, so it's not like emotions are talked about that much anyways. It's not common even in our family. So I think it's a good thing that it's being encouraged. I think that it's beautiful that people are sharing it in such a way that it's not like not this like
a dirty topic or something, you know?
Not taboo or making it seem like it's a weakness, but it's like, no, I have this, you guys have it too, but we don't need to. Like there's ways of actually helping ourselves to not think this way, and it's okay to feel a certain way, but your feelings don't have to dictate your actions, and your feelings don't mean that it's a real. Like there's so many things that I wish.
Absolutely. It's crazy because, again, so I talk a lot on my Instagram about emotionally attaching yourself to your goals, because emotions are so freaking strong. And like you said, we need to talk about that more, because there is kind of this like weird notion about like, oh, you're emotional. And it's like, why is that bad? That's not bad.
I was seen as very insensitive growing up, because I'd be like, bro, why are you crying? Like what?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. But like you said, you were raised in a household where you weren't necessarily talking about those things out loud, you know? So for you, the way that you were raised and the way that we're all raised, that kind of becomes what we believe. That kind of forms our reality. If you're growing up, the thoughts and the words and the actions of the people you're growing up with become your truth because that's all you know. Until, of course, you get to a point in your life where you're like, that's not all I have to know. I could learn other things and teach myself other things. But so it's so important, especially in high school, because you're not really at that point yet where you're starting to realize you can unlearn certain things and relearn new things. So when you're growing up and then you're in your high school and someone's opening up to you about emotions, but you're not comfortable with that, you're not from that, it becomes a really weird thing for you to talk about. But it is so important to talk about because, again, we have to think of emotions as kind of like the bus driver for our life, right? Like, obviously, when we attach our emotions to our goals, it becomes more real because we feel it and we don't just see it, but we genuinely feel it, which then helps us to reach those goals faster. Obviously, that in addition to taking action towards going to those goals, but you have to emotionally attach yourself. You also have to think about, like, okay, so if our thoughts and our words form our beliefs and our beliefs drive our actions, then where along the line is the emotion that's kind of helping everything along? Like, if our words and thoughts are emotionless, then our beliefs don't come from a place of pure, like, purpose, because there's no emotion there. And then our actions don't come from a pure place of purpose because there's no emotions there. And then it becomes harder to reach our goals and where we want to go in life. So the power of emotion is so freaking strong, and it's definitely something that's crucial to talk about in high school, especially when you're just starting to realize, yeah, I can unlearn old ways, I can think about things in a new light. And I think it's so important that you mentioned that, because I have a sister in high school right now. She's literally in her room because of remote learning, and she is a sophomore in high school, and they have implemented that now. So they have a lot more emotional resources and stuff for students now than even when I was in high school, which is crazy and amazing. I think it's a great thing, but I think the fact that it took so long to start talking about these things openly, is kind of nuts. But here we are, and hopefully it's headed in a better direction. And, it's important definitely to continue to talk about these things, especially, like you said, to people in high school.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think just with our society moving in direction of technology,
Mm-hmm.
that is just a new way for us to function. And it has created a new way for us to think, and for us, how, like, your sister who's in high school, she's growing up in the age of social media, like, all platforms. Is
Mm-hmm.
it a light? Like, am I?
You're gorgeous. Like, you are glowing, and I love it so much.
I'm looking at this, I'm like, am I a ghost?
Casper's nothing on you, girl. You're good.
All right. Well, for everyone, forgive the shade on my face. It's fine. But yeah, for everyone, for the younger generation growing up in the age of social media and in the age of, I guess, their role models being perceived a certain way, I think is harsher on the way that they think about themselves and expectations of what they should look like, what they should act like, what they should be accomplishing. So it has created the need to be way more vocal about emotions, way more vocal about what is happening internally in your mind, in your heart, and, like, more cautious of, like, if someone's going through depression, anxiety. So it has increased that need. I see that. I for sure see that. I think before even me growing up, I don't think that it was such a talked about thing because it wasn't such a heightened, like, the consequences haven't been so severe, like an increase in teen suicide or things like that. But I mean, it's beautiful that it's such a passion of yours to be able to share those things, because clearly you have practiced it enough to where you implement it in your life, and it's brought you this far, and that there was a need there, clearly, because you had to discover, like, why am I feeling this way? Why am I so sad or crying or overwhelmed. I just graduated college. You know, I'm stressing out about my future. Like, why is that? So now that you have practiced it and, you know, there's no mastery. We're always learning. We're always growing. So that's why I'm like, you're practicing it and you want to share it. Like, that's awesome. That's amazing. And so,
I love it so much.
yeah. And so even with your career, like, do you have a goal? Like, do you have an end goal in mind? Like, what would be like the peak?
I get asked this all the time. And I talk a lot about like road mapping towards your goals with just people that I like coach one-on-one with. And I help them kind of find a strategic plan to get to their goals. But then when I turn it on myself, and I do, you know, practice what I preach, but when I turn it on myself, I'm like, I really think about this. I can't say that I have one end goal. I can only say that the way that I've been doing things with truly leading from my purpose is just that I want to continue to make a massive impact on people through education and entertainment. I want to continue to connect with so many amazing people where I can continue to learn and grow from them and vice versa. So I think I just want to keep impacting lives and keep growing, connecting along the way on a massive, massive scale eventually. And so with that, I don't have like one set goal career-wise, because as long as I keep leading from the heart and keep leading from the place of purpose, I feel like everything that I do taps into that and ultimately lets me eventually I'll get to the goal where I do feel like I'm making this mass impact. And so that's kind of the goal, is more purposefully driven little goals, I guess, within my career. But I don't have an end all be all career goal, because honestly, I live in a constant state of gratitude. Like, genuinely, I believe that, like, living in a place where you're just grateful for everything you have, you're grateful for everything that happens to you and that you make happen along the way, and your focus and energy is there in gratitude, the more grateful you are for the things you have, because giving and receiving is reciprocal. So the more this is kind of getting into a lot of spiritual stuff, but the more the universe sees that and hears that and feels that, and then the more you keep getting in return, that you then become grateful for, which you get more grateful for, and it's like this whole circle. So I've never kind of had the goals for the jobs that I even have right now. I've never pictured having anything this specific, but I've manifested it by being just grateful, by knowing what I'm good at, honing in on my skills and talents, my expertise, which is, you know, hosting things and connecting with people. And I've just kind of led from a place of purpose and doing things that I know will get me, you know, I don't know, will get me to the next level in life. Like, will keep allowing my soul to kind of level up. So I think energy is real. I think having the proper mindset to do what you want is 100% something everybody needs to have with whatever their career goals or personal goals are. And I think that right now I'm at a place where, just my biggest goal is to just keep doing what I love, keep leading with impact, with purpose, and just see what happens as a result of that, as I kind of scale my life and keep leveling up. So with the On Air Institute, especially, no, sorry, you go.
No. I was just going to say, like, that's actually a really refreshing answer, to say that, oh, I actually don't have a career goal specifically. Like, some people would be like, oh, I hope to win an Emmy, or I hope to this and
Which
that.
is great. Specific goals, honestly, are so great. I'm just talking, like, from me, it's more of a feeling. Like, I feel like I'm going to get to this level of my life where I'm making such an impact and everything, that the job title isn't necessarily assigned to that feeling.
Yeah. Okay. That's why I'm saying it's massively refreshing, because even hearing, like, oh, I wasn't really pursuing these things that I got, it just because I'm trying to live out the purpose, which is to connect with people, then you've been able to kind of pave your own path in that way. So I love it because it's refreshing. That's a really refreshing answer, because normally we do get the pinpointed goals, which are fine, but the pinpointed goals, sometimes I feel as the receiver, I feel like intimidated by that because I don't know. Because I still don't know. I haven't figured it out yet.
And we don't have to know, right? 'Cause I get that a lot, and people are like, do you see yourself as the next Oprah? Do you see yourself as this or that? Like, I don't see myself as one thing specific because, you know, as long as it's purposefully driven, I feel like I can see myself doing so many different things, which is why, again, I do so many different things. It's because I love it, and I enjoy connecting with other humans. But going into the Honor Institute, because that's something I obviously have to talk about, especially here with you. So when I was with the Nets, and I'm still with them, it's just with COVID and everything, I'm just like not with them, but I'm still with them. When our season hopefully opens up to the fans, I'll be back on court. But when I was doing things with them, besides the games, I was also doing a lot of community events because we just love our community so much. And so we would go to we believe in education and literacy like so much. And so we would go to elementary schools and have these read to achieve assemblies. And I would actually read to groups of hundreds of elementary school kids. And that's kind of where I started realizing, wow, I can have this impact and this feeling that makes me feel connected to my why and my goals as a mentor. And so, you know, I'm not necessarily interested in teaching kids a certain thing. My mom actually is a teacher. She's been an elementary teacher for 32 years, going on 33 years. Ooh. So I think a lot of the reason why I love my mom so much and everything is because I see how hard she works and I see what an impact she makes on kids. And I think that's also why I love education in general. And so thinking about how I can make an impact for people and what I can teach, what is my true area of expertise, what can I bring light on for people who are kind of stuck, but they have an idea of where they want to navigate to, they have an idea of their career goals, and if it's anything similar to my journey, I know I can help you get there. I have ridiculous, endless connections, so many stories of what to do, what not to do, just from navigating through this space the past like 7 years.
Right.
And just basically I have all the tools that I want to share with people. And so I decided to create this course, which I'm looking at the wall at all my Post-it notes. I'm like, holy crap, like my brain.
No.
I just brain dumped, and it's amazing. No, I think it's the best thing that you can do to get organized. But I created this course, and I was like, you know, it's COVID. I got us to connect with people. What can I do? What can I bring to the table? And out of that kind of birthed the On Air Institute. And it's a 12-week course where I teach all my students basically we do all the inner work first. So the first week, I'll kind of break it down to you. The first week is your purpose, your why. And again, that's just kind of the reason why you do the things that you do. And it just fuels everything that you do. We bring in that emotional intention, that emotional aspect to your goals, because that's how you actually achieve them faster. So we talk a lot about our purpose and everything, and I link it to obviously being in the industry, but it's also so much that you can bring outside of your career. It's like, what is your purpose in life? And we do get deep because, again, the people who are in this course, they know that in order to completely transform into this person they want to start living as, starts inside. So after that, we get into the mindset stuff. We get into words and thoughts and beliefs. We get into, you know, starting to set up our life so that we actually do start living as this public figure, this public speaker person we want to be seen as. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of fun because it's just basically a huge accountability group. Along the way, you'll get to connect with so many amazing guest speakers that I've already started booking and I'm so freaking excited about. I ended up bringing in kind of like an assistant coach, which she specializes in just mindset work and storytelling and the words that we choose to tell ourselves, the words that we choose to use when we speak in front of people, and how that kind of translates into our feeling, our beliefs, our reality, right? So it goes very hand in hand with the people we want to become, but also being this person in this industry, because the words that we use obviously on camera and connecting with people, we have to be super mindful of as well. So she's going to be great. I'm so freaking excited for her. You have no idea. And that's going to be amazing because it's also nice to have different voices along the way. It's a really an amazing thing. And by the end of it, you're going to be completely transformed. I don't know how you wouldn't be affected, at least a little bit, but I'm talking serious transformation as not just the host and the public figure you want to be, but as a person and where you're leading from. And I think it's an amazing transformation that I don't see a lot of other business coaching courses doing. And because this is so niche to kind of cultivating your on-air presence and doing things, on camera, it's unlike anything else that's out there. So I'm really excited to bring this to life. I've been working so hard on it, and I know that what you guys put in as students is what you'll definitely get out, and this will change lives. So I'm excited to do it and to be
I believe it. And I love it. I mean, anything that has to do with doing life with others is way more fun, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm the same way. And I talk a lot about investing in myself and how it's pretty necessary to do in order to get to that next level of your life. And a lot of people don't understand the importance of that, or maybe they see money as just money and not necessarily the energy exchange behind the money. And so when you were yeah, I come from a place where I've invested in myself before, you get it. So I know you'll put in the work, and I know you'll get so much out of it as a result. And again, even coaches need coaching, right? So it's I enrolled in a course that starts literally the same week as my course. So I'm going to be both mentoring and being a student of this business course, and at the same time, which I'm so excited to do, because obviously anything I find of value for you guys, I'll be able to bring that into my course as well along the way. So yeah, it's all amazing. All great and amazing things. I'm just so fueled by life. And I'm just happy to see how you guys, kind of dive into the industry as a result.
Yeah. Well, I think that has radiated through the camera and through Zoom, and everybody who is going to be watching this will be like, dang, I don't even want to be a host and I want to take this course. Shoot.
Yeah. Just for anyone, honestly, and this is also another thing I'm starting to really talk about, is because I meet a lot of people who just want the confidence. They just want so badly to feel like their most confident version of themselves. And they want to feel like they can talk in front of a crowd without stammering or overthinking or sweating or whatever, nervous natural tics come along the way with public speaking. And they want to get to a place where they're just so secure with who they are that they can confidently speak in front of a crowd. So maybe that's your end goal, right? Maybe it's not to have a YouTube show, or maybe it's not to be on the radio or have a podcast. Maybe it's literally to just feel so supported and so secure as just a person who can speak in front of a crowd and feel good. And that could be the goal too. So I think it's just for people like that as well would get so much out of this course. And so, and again, the whole community behind it of students keeping each other accountable and supporting each other along the way is such a beautiful thing, no matter what your goals are.
Yeah.
So anyone just even wanting to show up on Instagram stories and they're nervous to do it, start here. It's such an amazing way to just freaking start. Just take that messy action and just put yourself out there.
That messy action. I like that term. I'm going to use it. Ally, so tell people where they can find you on social media. And
yes, of course. So I am Ally.Melendez on Instagram, and DM me anytime. You know how much I love connecting at this point, hopefully. So, so I'm always open to just having conversations about anything and everything. And then the On Air Institute is just that on Instagram as well. So I post sometimes some tips and tricks about being on the camera, or about being confident, or just little things that you can definitely get some value out of, for sure.
Beautiful. Okay. Well, thank you for chatting with me.
Thank you. It was awesome. I loved it so much.
Yes, I'm really stoked. I'm excited. We'll definitely come back after these 12
Anytime. Okay, I'm here.
After this call, just so that we can share and we can talk more about it, because I think that it is going to definitely make an impact on lives, and you're just going to continue to do so with the things that you do. So I'm excited to have everybody follow and join in the journey. Thank you. Thanks for coming on. And I have this sun just on my face.
Yes, like I said, girl, glowing.
Like a
Amazing.
myself over here. All right. Well, thank you, Ally, again. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Go support. Go show this girl some love. And just for the sake of positive content, just follow along and, yeah, definitely show her some love. Thanks so much, girl.
Much. And of course, if anyone wants to join the Honor Institute or just find out more, please DM me. The doors don't officially close until next Friday. It's a week from our recording right now. So that's October 23rd. And then you can definitely see if it's for you in this next week. And I hope that it is, because I'm ready if you are.
Yeah, absolutely. I encourage that. I second that. Come join us. All right, so well, I will catch you later. Thanks, guys, for watching. See you next time.
Yeah, you the model, the lawyer, the stewardess. Yeah. You the doctor, the dentist, you doing it. That's why they scared.